Be part of our brand. Leadership for God and country.
Good morning. Welcome to the Thursday edition of your favorite program on television inside Nigeria. My name is Winifred Webo, and I'm your host on this first segment of the program. Today being Thursday, 14th of September 2023. We have an array of newspapers for review on the first segment of this show. And of course, as usual on the program, we like to flag up with Nigeria's most influential newspaper, Leadership. Leadership has on his cover today governorship polls, APC, PDP, Labour Party, NNPP, G3 as Judgment Day inches closer. Governorship polls, APC, PDP, Labour Party, NPP, G3 as Judgment Day inches closer. Tribunal verdicts may alter Nigeria's political map. Kaduna, Enugu, Lagos, Kano, Delta, Nasarawa, Zamfara are states to watch. Beside that, we have Bago, that is Niger State Governor, unveils Niger State's green economy blueprint. CBN dispels rumors of Naira redenomination. I have cordial relationship with Uzodinma Abbas, that is the House of Reps Speaker. Reps slam NLC over alleged 100 million. The International Air Transport Association, AITA, lists Abuja, Lagos airports among most expensive in Africa. And above the masthead of leadership, we have Wike blocks leakages, flags of 15 billion naira road projects in FCT to rehabilitate 135 roads, rules out contract variation. The story is on page 7 of Leadership newspaper. And from the cover page, we move over to the page 3 of the paper where we have our stand. Our stand today, Thursday, 14th of September 2023, is on checking illegal mining in Nigeria. Checking illegal mining in Nigeria. From page 3, we move over straight ahead to the back page where we have who owns the Kaduna-bound explosives. Who owns the Kaduna-bound explosive that is being blunt with Muazu Eliza, Thursday column. Who owns the Kaduna-bound explosives? And because Ghana Must Go says Governor Akeredolu sacks 8 to deputy. And guess what the answer is? Obaseki vs Shaibu 2.0. What a question. For more on these inside stories, continuation of headline stories, log on to the website of Leadership, www.leadership.ng. From Leadership, we have next on our menu Vanguard. Vanguard says forex scarcity sends Naira tumbling to 930 Naira per US dollar. Forex scarcity sends Naira tumbling to 930 Naira per US dollar. BDCs lament dollar scarcity. Analysts disagree on involvement of BDCs. Parallel market premium widens. Pressure may continue despite the reform, experts. Academic records. We graduated in Chicago Varsity in 1979. Tinubu's classmate speaks out. Ransom from kidnapping, fueling terrorism banditry. National Counter-Terrorism Center. $600 million trapped funds. Tinubu directs CBN to meet foreign airlines. Abidjan-Lagos Highway, ECOWAS moves to perfect design for projects. Insecurity, Niger to reopen 11 public schools closed in 2021. We move up just above the masthead of Vanguard, where we have 100 days. Economy reforms have made life more difficult. Financial experts. 100 days. Economy reforms have made life more difficult, according to financial experts. Nigeria accounts for 30% global malaria burden, minister. MTN raises concerns over vandalism of sites, infrastructure in Southeast. IGP declares killer of DPO Bako in Rivers wanted. For more on this, log on to the website of Vanguard, www.vanguardngr.com. From Vanguard, the Guardian newspaper is next on our menu. The Guardian says high prices push government homes beyond average Nigerians reach. High price, of course, you can see that. Well, just beneath that, we have less than 1% of unemployed youths benefit from government's interventions. Less than 1% of unemployed youths benefit from government's interventions. Skid SCIID Panty, how not to investigate data criminals. $800 million stock funds. Federal government directs CBN to settle foreign airlines backlog. Why Vanguard says 600 million. On the Guardian, we have $800 million stock funds. Federal government directs CBN to settle foreign airlines backlog. 6 years after, Nigeria awards 49 gas flare sites to 42 investors. 6 years after, Nigeria awards 49 gas flare sites to 42 investors. Kano suspends another Casco director for alleged palliatives diversion. Federal government moves Nigerian Identity Management Commission to Ministry of Interior as issued NINS hits 102.4 million. Federal government moves NIMC to Ministry of Interior as issued Nigerian Tribune. Let's have this day. This day is right here on many. This day says history as NUPRC picks 42 winners for its gas flare commercialization bid round. Okay, history as I'm reading from this day. History as NUPRC picks 42 winners for its gas flare commercialization bid round. Commission contracts KPMG as partner for award implementation process. King Igbeto Wike, you have no executive powers, must operate under National Assembly supervision. NYT Adeyemo, U.S. Deputy Treasury Secretary, to visit Nigeria to booster economic ties. Sanwo-Olu swears in 37 commissioners, special advisors. Above the masthead, we have Tinubu directs CBN to hold quarterly meetings with airlines to resolve foreign exchange issues. Bonjo Iweala, my first 30 months at WTO, World Trade Organization, have been exciting, challenging. Tax African countries on AFCA, www.thisdaylive.com. And from this day, we take Nigerian Tribune. Let's see what Nigerian Tribune is leading with this Thursday. Proceeds of kidnapping used to finance terrorism. That is an office of a National Special Nigerian Special Advisor. Proceeds of kidnapping used to finance terrorism, ONSA. We also have Nigeria ranks highest in airport charges in Africa. Abuja, Lagos airports top list. Nigeria ranks highest in airport charges in Africa. Abuja, Lagos airports top list. 13 states at risk of flood. NEMA warns 6,000 dead in Libya flood. And above that, we have the picture stories, what my years as ambassador taught me, from Awolowo Dosunmu. CVL colloquium honors are two others. Above the masthead of Nigerian Tribune, we have NIN/passport crisis. Federal government moves NIMC to Interior Ministry. Reps deny collecting 100 million palliatives lages. For more stories on Nigerian Tribune, log on to the website of Nigerian Tribune, www.tribuneonlineng.com. From Nigerian Tribune, we have the Punch last on our menu, and it's the last paper on our menu for review this first segment of the show. The point says ASU parents protest as more varsities hike fees. ASU parents protest as more varsities hike fees. Prevail on universities to reverse fee increase. PTA test Tinubu fears mass dropout. PTA test Tinubu fears mass dropout. Lecturers slam federal government over poor funding. Students will take to cybercrime. Parents warn. That picture of some demolished buildings in Libya, and of course we have a story beneath it. That is the story for the picture story. Libya flood kills 6,000 victims buried in mass graves. Libya flood kills 6,000 victims buried in mass graves. So unfortunate, because you can see some in the picture some cars that have been demolished. Of course, maybe your occupants unfortunately lost their lives. Meaning that we have forgery. Kano creates forensic unit on land documentation. Government attack Plateau Church, abduct pastor to others. Naira weakens to 950 per dollar. Forest scarcity worsens. Stories on page 35 of the Punch. Naira weakens to 950 per dollar. Forest scarcity worsens. We move above the masthead where we have manufacturers slash output, jobs over forest crisis. Slain soldiers, over 6,000 family members to get insurance claims. Federal government predicts heavy rainfall, flooding in 48 towns. For more on these inside stories and of course back page, log on to the website of the Punch, www.punchng.com. With this, we've come to the end of the first segment of the show where we review headline stories. And second segment is actually about to take off. And of course, my Thursday guest is already in the house. My name is Winifred Webo. So just stay tuned. Welcome back to the second segment of your breakfast show on television inside Nigeria. My name is Winifred Webo, and of course, it's my pleasure to welcome on set my guest. He is a political economist, he's also public affairs analyst, Olamilekan Adefolari. Thank you so much for your presence.
Thanks for having me. A very good morning to you and our viewers.
Now we want to just discuss the showdown. There is a showdown between looms as NLC threatens a strike, and of course NLC's allegations yesterday, as captured by some newspaper, was the fact that House of Representatives members of the House of Representatives were collecting 100 million naira palliatives as palliative each, while a family of 12, they are sharing how many rice? Family of 12, they are sharing a bag of rice. So how would you just oppose this?
I think why NSA is making this, according to the National Assembly, say it's an allegation that nothing like that happened. But why many Nigerians would never believe that such never happened was that the way our National Assembly has been structured, their payments, their salaries, their allowances, the kind of luxury life this set of people live, and the way they display an opulence of wealth across the country shows that this could have happened. And again, if you look at the way the palliative issues have been carried out, because for me, I see it's like more like something that has been politicized in a way that the state are receiving 5 billion, and the state will tell you that they only receive 2 billion from federal government. What about the remaining 3 billion? They don't know when they'll get it. And part of the 2 billion they are receiving is partly is grant, is partly is loan. Now, these are individuals who are collecting 100 million. The question I asked when I had the opportunity to discuss this was that, is it that when government was structuring the palliative sharing, the National Assembly give them a proposal that from their own constituency, there will be need for them to do palliative sharing, because as we speak right now, all the 36 state governors, including FCT, are doing palliative sharing. Now, maybe National Assembly people now say, okay, let us also do palliative sharing at constituency level. And maybe that's why this money is coming in. But the way it is being done is that they are not open. Even if they are giving them such money, they're supposed to be open as, okay, this money is going for so and so in our constituency as part of support to our state government. Because they denying it, also, nobody will believe them that this never happened. Because as far as I'm concerned, if they let them come to deny it tomorrow, Nigerians will never believe that they never received 100 million. Because in the past, about a month ago, we could hear we have dropped so token in your account. Later we have dropped prayer request in your email. So with all this kind of drama happening there, nobody will not believe that National Assembly members are collecting 100. Maybe it may not be up to 100 million, but they are collecting something in regards to palliative.
The palliatives, and which now we're just on the backdrop of this looming strike by NLC. Now, that's the leading story on the Punch. Parents protest as more varsities hike fees. Now, is it really the time now for varsities to be hiking their school fees? We also have schools in FCT, primary schools have been on strike. This is also on the backdrop that even private schools have also increased tuition. What is happening? So is it that they are also, at the end of the day, we are saying that most of their even teachers or lecturers, they don't even get to benefit from this increase, their hike in tuition?
No, the we in the university system across board, but we must look at what is causing the hiking. One, from the private sector perspective, they will tell you the cost of production, the cost of running schools has increased. There is no power. They are buying fuel. They are buying toiletries material. They are doing this. They are doing that. They are upgrading. They are building. They are doing developmental projects. That is the reason why they are increasing fee. And again, the workers at that level are also asking for increase in payment for salaries and all that. Now, at the federal government level, the universities particularly, the reason why they are also increasing fee, they will tell you, is the cost of running. They are buying papers, they are buying equipment, they are buying photocopy machines, computers, and the rest of them. But the argument we have put is this: each year, government provide some necessary activities, some necessary materials for universities to run. Paper, photocopy machine, including laptops. So why would a university vice chancellor not think that jacking up fees, which is not part of what is used to pay salaries of workers, because it's part of, it's just to run some activities around the school, because TEDford is supporting them in terms of structure. Although they too, they are doing one or two things, but we know that federal government,
they also have they also generate their internal revenue.
Definitely
these postgraduate courses they hold. It's actually, it goes
this fee is part of the internal generation. But now the internal generation is increasing. But what federal government have been saying is that because people are alleged, maybe because of the loan scholarship that the government is bringing in, that's why the VC are now taking advantage of it. Fee. But I know it is not university that is doing it. Most of the universities in the north have not going to that. But most of the universities in the southern part of the country are the one taking this initiative, because I know the northern part will not quickly go into this, because they will want to their own philosophy about education is because of the disadvantaged level of education in their area. So they will not want to do that. But we know that University of Abuja have done that. Although they have increased, because University of Abuja is modeled after ABU, and ABU have not increased its fee. You get it? But at the postgraduate, PhD, master's level, and we know how much they are paying, it's quite high.
Yeah.
But on the undergraduate level, they have not increased. But they are all giving reasons why they are doing it because of the running operational costs of carrying out some of the activities in this. But what government need to do is the federal government have to come into it because the key issue is this. You know, when ASU was fighting for autonomy, one of the issues, the underbelly issues, is how university can be running automatically and run autonomous without any government input. Now, the disadvantage of this autonomy have come because of vice chancellor have not taken advantage. After all, we have autonomy, so why can't we? And it is what ASU have been fighting for. So if ASU, on the other hand, is kicking against fee that is being fixed by the university.
Yes, it's kicking against it.
It's kicking against it. It means that you're also kicking autonomy that federal government are giving you. Although autonomy differ. Now it is the issue about financial autonomy, which the university are trying to take advantage. But we just hope that federal government can intervene and say, okay, even though we want to increase fee, it is not as much as high as this. Although if you check the parameter of this fee, you discover that they increase different hostel accommodation, tuition fee, SUG fee, departmental, all these things, which are quite
prior to this time, federal government has actually been subsidizing education. And even few weeks ago, a colleague said he didn't know. I said, oh, you mean you didn't know? Because with the university tuition is so small, it's so paltry. Exactly. I think it's not even up to 100,000. You pay about 60 something. All through all these years, I paid it, even senior ones and all those stuff. So it has remained constant. And accommodation has also been 90.
You know, the accommodation is because of the public-private partnership that those universities introduced. Most of those hostels were built in conjunction with the school and some private owners. And again,
was it up to 10?
It depends. Yes, there are some schools that pay up to between 50 to 100,000, depending on.
It has not really increased over the years. That remained constant, and that is because federal government is actually subsidizing it. And with this school loan that the federal government introduced, perhaps is what is now bringing all these issues that yes, we must increase. Federal government should have to come out to say, no, this is not what it's meant. Don't you think so?
It's expected because we expect the federal government to come in and say no. But we also know that the challenge of some of this investing is that, like Axel said, that government must increase funding of the education. But we have asked, not that government is not funding education. The problem is that the money they are putting, we are not seeing most of the expected physical structure, equipment, machines that those money would have gone to. Most of those money are still going to salaries, payment.
But federal government, in addition to is doing it through. What more do they expect from the federal government?
The thing is that many people who even join us and begin to support, they don't even understand what these guys are fighting. What I've said it right from time that anytime they say they are fighting for funding education, they are fighting for more pay. Because not that government is not like the last administration dropped over 800 billion naira that was shared to all the universities, federal universities across board, and they give them on the first set of we call them the firstborn of investing in Nigeria, like the ABU, the University of Nigeria, and the University of, they collect some of them 100 billion, 80 billion, like that. So what do they use those money to do? So the issue is that it's not about funding. For me, it is about the prioritization of the funding. Are we funding for stomach infrastructure of workers in the university system, or are we funding to ensure that our curriculum system is okay, the structure is better, there's a conducive environment for learning, or are we funding to just be wasting money whereby a vice chancellor will come out into a university as a vice chancellor, after 5 years he goes back, become a billionaire overnight, or members of the ASU will become, they will call themselves integrity members, they will go and register company everywhere and be collecting contracts, because those are the things they are all fighting for. But be as I'm pointing it out right now, that government need to come in and tackle the issue of fee. If it is going to be a parallel fee that everybody wants, that it could be, if it is 100,000 in the south, let it be 100,000 in the north. If it is 50,000 in the south, let it be. I think that will go a long way to reduce all this.
There's more explanation needed. That's why on this student loan, which everybody is using as an opportunity now to jack up his fees. Now, be that as it may, that's that for now. So we want to talk about leadership stealing story. Governorship polls, APC, PDP, Labour Party, NNPP, G3 as Judgment Day inches closer. September is the month of judgment. You know, like they said the Daniel has come to judgment. September, and we are having this tribunal giving out judgment.
Exactly.
So what are we expecting? And which comes to the call for electoral reforms, don't you think so?
It's necessary electoral reform to tackle some issues that were
because most of these, many of them now, they are spending 100 days in office, 100 days, and now either way now, the person vacate his office. I mean, does it?
The thing is, for me, most of the cases at the tribunal are something that most of the petitioner were not able to prove their case, because when looking at all the cases altogether, it's either they are taking frivolous issues to the tribunal, certificate forgery, this and that. Meanwhile, the substance of the issues, most of them, their lawyers were not able to defend it. In the issue of the election himself, most of them were just frivolous issues. So I wonder if the case will turn in the favor of the petitioner. But we cannot say, okay, we cannot predict what the tribunal will say, but we just know that at the end of the day, this case will still end in Supreme Court. Whatever will be the matter, they will end in Supreme Court. But for me, I'm not expecting anything too dramatic or anything that will be too new from the cases, because even especially the Enugu saga that became the loudest among them about certificate forgery or someone not having NYC, whatever. By the time the tribunal takes trash it out, when they get to the Supreme Court, they will still be it could be turned around. So I'm not expecting anything too different. But what we just want is that whatever could be the gaps in our electoral system, it has been open for us to amend and reform the electoral system going forward in terms of election.
And what do you think in terms of electoral reforms that should be done?
I think majorly it's about what form of qualification do we really require to go into election. When we talk about criminal activity, it has been settled in the past that when somebody is, except that person is convicted, that's when he may not have the opportunity to go and contest for election. Then what about the issue about fitness? Is it age? Is it health wise issue? It's also be important, because many people are using that as a opportunity to go and go to court and begin to argue on that person is not fit or not. If you remember the presidential tribunal, they talk about that the president.
No, I don't think they refer to physical fitness. They refer to his credentials.
Inclusive. Maybe from my own understanding.
No, they didn't.
They may not talk about it.
They said fit as in his credentials.
But when we break it down, literally, fitness means including physical fitness. That's our one, because definitely they may not be seeing it, but if you look at outside there, many people are talking about it before the election. And now maybe with this understanding that people can get it. Okay, if you have any medical challenges, the reform will also help us to shed light on that. Because if you are going to, let me give an example. If you are going for a further academic pursuit, they'll ask you, is this person mentally fit to undergo this kind of. The same thing with the electoral issue, with the governance. So we can also have it into our law. Then again, the issue whereby we begin to package frivolous issues and petition, it's also tackle it. That when you are coming to the tribunal, only pick electoral offences issues. Don't come with frivolous issues and that waste the time.
It will also be reflected. What are the electoral issues?
The electoral issues about the election itself, where people denied not to vote, where somebody substituted, was the name of the person appear on the ballot paper. Those are the issues that are germane to election. But the ones that are bringing, he did not have certificate, it was a drug baron, it was not in Nigeria, he's a Ghanaian or he's a Guinean. All those issues are frivolous that at the end of the day, the court will just, you have just wasted our time. These are not the issue to take. And the same thing is happening to some of these governorship election, where we are looking at certificate, we are looking somebody is not from our state, he was brought in. These issues must be something that we must look at when we are reviewing.
Now, many people claim that proving these electoral infractions are always difficult to prove at the court. So how would you propose that should be done, reflected?
Seriously, it's true, it's going to be very difficult, because in the sense that when you go to court, like the issue of some of these governorship, some will claim that they didn't allow people to vote, and they changed the voting system, they pick some people's vote, they add to this one, they subtract some of their vote. It's very hard, because you are the one to prove it. And how do you prove it? You prove it with evidence and fact that you have. You get it? Most of them brought witnesses that contradict themselves, because when they were cross-examined, they were asking them questions, and most of them could not. Imagine, like like for example, in National State, the PDP witness contradicts what his testament that he wrote down in the court, and it was like, I don't know, they came out and the man was crying that he didn't know what happened to him. You get it? So those are the
really
he was crying. It happens now. He was crying. He doesn't know what happened.
What happened to him that he
contradicted himself in the court, to the point that, and what they were arguing was that in the testament he claimed that a particular polling unit, the vote of a particular party was, he said his party subtracted the vote of the governor, of the current governor.
He said so.
That's what he said. And when he came out of the court, he was like, why did that? He contradicted himself. So those are the issues that we need to look at. And again, proving those issues are quite very, very, difficult in the sense that the judges themselves, when they listen to you, when they listen to what the lawyers are saying, what the witnesses are saying, they won't collaborate. They want something that is logic, because law is about logic. The moment you deviate, it means you fall apart. That's why in the presidential election issue, when somebody brought about how many 27 witnesses, 13 of them were dropped because what they were saying were not logical to what was written as part of the petition. So those are the issues that make it very difficult to prove election cases in Nigeria. Although we also know that humanly.
What about the issue of settling election cases before
the swearing? It is very important.
I think that's what many people
are saying.
Are calling for.
Exactly. For me, I'm in support of that.
Does that mean that they will have to move an election maybe 6 months before time?
That would be more practical way to do. We must give gap in the sense that election will come in 6 months before swearing in. Because we say with the kind of lacunas and gaps that we have found or discovered in this petition aspect, that is what need to be done. If we say, okay, let us make it so easy, so small that the day of swearing and the day of election will not be, no, the problem will still arise. Because even before we come to this level that we had 180 days, it was the same problem we had by elongating days of swearing and the rest of. Before someone will spend 3 years, 4 years in governance, and before the tribunal will now come and take him out. We don't want that to happen. But the issue is this: even though we are going to have that gap reduced, the petition should be written in accordance with what really transpired at the election process level, not what transpired before the election. And again, the issue whereby a particular party will be dangling into another party affair is not expected. Imagine the APC dangling into PDP LP affair that the Labour Party presidential candidate was not qualified to be, was not a member of the party. That's what the PET said, that it is not your business, that it is the party itself and members of that party that should be able to bring such argument forward, not you dangling into somebody's business. So, and most of these cases that we have found out is that they will go to the court and say, and so person is not qualified, he's not a member of a party. It's not your business. Focus on your own political party and what is happening in your party. I think by the time we address some of these issues, but when we go to court, we now have a sizable number of petition issues to address and to be more speedily addressed. And the court will decide who is the winner, who is the loser.
I hope National Assembly should also do justice to that for that review.
They have to, but the thing is that they will not want to do it if the civil society in the election arena don't push them to do it, because they will see it as opportunity to perpetuate themselves in the political realm.
Like they haven't seen.
Exactly.
It took the act of Nigerians before they could even add that electronic
voting stuff, and that one to need to also be set, whether it's electronic transfer
or
transmission, or manual. Because one thing about court is that the way court define grammar words is quite different from the way some of us define those words. Now they say transfer, transmission, then there is difference. That's what the court was saying. When you say transfer, when you say transmission, they are different. And again, the Electoral Act, as we speak right, doesn't allow any of this to happen. When we talk about transmission, we are still talking about electronic transfer, and it's not allowed in the law. So INEC have discretion to either transfer by electronics or transfer by manual.
Thank you so much. Well, that is that for the cover story of leadership as the governorship polls. All the parties are jittery as Judgment Day inches closer, and that brings us to the leading story on Vanguard, talking about forex scarcity. Naira is about 939 naira to $1. Where are we? And this is on the backdrop that President Tinubu has asked CBN to settle foreign airlines backlog of $800 million. Even though Vanguard says $600 million, let's say boys out to
Definitely.
How do we get out of this long jam?
The issue is this: it's a two issue. The foreign airline issues and the challenge with our forex market are quite different. Now, the foreign airline, I don't even think it's up to 800 million. It's around 400, between 3 to 450, because CBN, the former CBN governor, was out of the 600 that they were owing, they were able to deflect it to about 350 or 400 before he left, before he was suspended.
Why is it?
So it's just that,
why are papers reporting?
Definitely, the paper will definitely look at the time they pay those ones and now how much have accumulated. I think that's why they pulled this figure out. But the real figure then was around 350 to 400 out of the 600 they were owing. Now, we understand why this is happening, because CBN claimed that this guy take this dollar and just take it out, that it's supposed to allow it to stay in Nigeria. And again, the argument was that CBN wanted them to be collecting this money in naira, not in dollar. That was the challenge. But I don't know whether the federal government have succumbed to now. Okay, let us give them their dollar and go, because CBN sees that if we give them the dollar, it will deflate our foreign reserve, because all this is in our foreign reserve. So how can we afford to be giving this set of people this amount of foreign currency? Why don't we have another arrangement with them, a swap? Most of these airlines also have their own national currency that we can use. Have an agreement with them and reduce the pressure, because the pressure is on the naira. The more of this dollar that we are giving out, the more it affects the naira. And again, you know, some of these guys, the rate they are charging the ticket fee is also in dollar. So the transmission or the exchange fall into the naira and affect our naira currency. And that's what the CBN have been fighting for. But I don't know why the federal government is not saying that they should have a dialogue with them every month.
Have you forgotten the President Tinubu just came back from
UAE? It's expected, because, and I think those are the areas we even have issues most, because so we just hope that when they are now sitting down and dialoguing, we should now think of a better way of solving this problem.
We have not actually been able to get the full gist of their dialogue. I
think they have. It's a 5-point agenda. Now they have taken off the visa ban on Nigeria. Then the airline Emirates and the other one will start coming in. Etihad, they will start coming in. Then they also have a trade agreement between both countries that the EU is coming to invest into Nigeria, some millions of dollars investment. Then also the government of Nigeria will have to package a way of whereby we can have a national carrier that could also be coming in, going into what they call it.
Yes, you know, Peace Airline was giving back. At the end of the day, they frustrated.
Because of this, that's why Nigeria also retaliated back by frustrating their effort, and they too now withdraw their services from Nigeria. I hope by the time they sit together, going forward with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Ministry of Trade and Investment and the Finance Ministry, they can harmonize some of these 5-point agreement they have discussed with them. But going forward, one of them is just this forex issue, because these are the two airlines that have always been agitating. Apart from British Airlines that also agitate about their forex issue, these particular two ones are the ones that have been calling that Nigeria must pay them back in foreign currency. And I hope at the end of the day, it's not just giving them, let us go deeper and have a swap agreement the way we did with China. And pay these guys in their normal local currency, so that it can reduce our depression on the naira. But if we continue that, let us just be giving them like this, we end up putting too much pressure on the naira. But I just hope that they are listening to us, because this will be the best way to reduce the pressure on the naira. Then the other aspect of forex sitting tumbling to 930. You know that CBN went and
just 70. Is it 70 covered to go?
To 1,000. Already it's 1,000 at the black market. These are just the parallel market. This price is between BDC and some official market, the banks. These are just the price. But if you go to the black market himself, maybe to 4 and the rest of those street trading on forex, it's 1,000 naira. Some even 1,100 or 1,050 naira. Then if you go to people that are doing forex in their bedroom, in their parlor, in their sitting room, it's around 1,000 naira, 1,050 naira. Those ones are the ones, or someone that have $10 that want to quickly make some gains, because it's business. People have now turned naira to dollar to commodity. Exchange of commodity.
The pressure on dollars is still as high as never before.
It will, because the economy is biting and people are looking for soft means to earn a living. And one of the soft means to earn a living, if I have $10 now and you need it, if I sell one to you, I make like 200 naira again. I sell two, I make 400 naira again. I sell three, I make 500 naira. Have you forgotten what Emir Sanusi said? That a psychopath who knows nothing about the economy bought a private jet because he was buying dollar very cheap from the government and was selling very high. Those are the things that everybody is not taking advantage of this.
And now somebody was, even this morning, said the landing cost here is now 800.
Definitely, that one has come. It was because of the warning that NLC it will increase, because this. Now let me give a background to this. Now NNPC went and borrowed $3 billion from African Bank. That money is now being used to support the importation of food. CBN went and borrowed $7 billion from JP Morgan and the other guys, Goldman Sachs. Now they brought all this money and brought it to IIN window. They brought it to IIN window and they begin to sell to people in IIN window, which CBN called the willing buyer and the willing seller. Now these guys mop up all the dollar that CBN bought and hide it. What is happening? They are buying this and storing it. That's what is happening. But the government, not that the government is not aware of this thing, but how to use the stick on these guys is the challenge. Because a lot of some of these guys, the way they do their business trickle down to many people in the society. So if the government should use a stick or the hammer on them, people will shout. They are using the media. They are using every platform to ensure that the government is killed. Look at what Manufacturing Association of Nigeria is saying that, and they are cutting jobs and they are cutting production because there's forest scarcity. And this same Manufacturing Association of how much have CBN have been giving to them all these years to be supporting their businesses at 7% digit loan. None of them are paid back. Although I will not blame them because at the end they will tell you that energy cost is the issue. And check the IIM window. A lot of them will tell you they are buying equipment, they are buying spare parts. They will give. A lot of them are receiving this dollar, but where are they keeping it? Because from a simple economic analysis, if you collect forex and you buy equipment, it's supposed to take you another 8-9 months before you could request for another month. But here in Nigeria, it is every day they are requesting.
It's supposed to even take years.
Yes, no, I'm talking about the short term.
Buy equipment.
At least the next 2 years, you don't go and shop for equipment. Yes. If you buy complementary materials to be producing, you buy at a go. If you are a media house that is buying newsprint, you buy at a go the one that will serve you.
If you want to trace this, you discover that it was it was a pressure that was how do you call it? A time bomb that was waiting to happen. This borrowing they were
exactly.
Even before they borrowed this under the former CBN governor. Now he also made allegations then that they borrowed was it how much, and they gave to one
one of the someone that is building a refinery. Not only that person, $20 million was given to Olam Farms. Have you guys been reading the revelation about Olam's farm?
No.
The popular Olam's farm that DSS have been chasing them because of when the CBN governor is in his DSS cage, he has been talking and making a lot of revelations.
Singing like
so he has been making a lot of revelation that the people that has been giving money to, he has been making revelation. The man that went and kept over 500 billion naira in his account and over $150 million with them, he has been arrested. Now Olam Farm is the next. Olam Farm collect $20 million from CBN as a means of importing money, whatever they want to import. But it was discovered it was a forest racketeering between the CBN governor and Olam's Farm. Now the head of Olam's Farm finance and administration ran away from Nigeria, so they are looking for him now. But what the government is saying, every kobo that Olam's Farm collected, they must pay back to the government. And they are just bringing all this money, and that's what is happening around the oil sector too.
NISA too.
NISA vote is off. They have suspended it. And the farmers are claiming that it is because NISA refused to take up the risks of the money, 577 billion that the government gave them. The NISA is supposed to take up the risks, whereby as they are collecting that money, NISA is supposed to collect part of it as insurance. Meanwhile, NISA never collected that money, so they were all of them collected money. Flood came.
I saw an editorial that NISA removed from maybe the money it was asked to disburse to farmers.
Definitely, it does that because it said it's part of what they're supposed to use to as part of the structure of the loan, and that is the risk insurance they are talking about. But the farmers, the Anchor Brothers Farmer Association, are claiming that no, they did not collect that money, that they did not take that risk. Rather, they just allowed that money to be given to their members, and their members lost because of flood. Imagine money that you have collected in 2016, you are now claiming that 2022 flood is what has swept the money away. I was watching the president of those farmers, and I was there. I said, look at these crazy people. Forgive me for the apology for the word I used. Because exactly, forgive me for the word I used. But this is what is happening. How can you collect money and you now claim 5 years or 6 years after that it's because there was no risk assessment, there was no risk, that's why your members lost the money? I say, but you people show us pyramid of rice in Abuja. That's what they show us pyramid of rice.
And they also use the 100 million to buy for
the former suspended CBN. So why are you claiming that all this is happening? But I just hope that the government will do the right thing, that all these guys will bring back the money, and the money will not be rerouted. Because the problem will be having Nigeria, once money is retrieved from people who looted it can also be rerouted back by government officials. But we just hope that
saving that, I think there's no hope yet to just revive the economy.
The thing is that the challenge with the economy is so tight that the more government try to do one or two things, the more they throw the hand of government. But it's because the same people who bought the same government and the same people that are also causing problems for them. The businessmen that you can talk about, the big Titanic, they are the ones giving the government this challenge. Talk about this forest, the government can handle it. The problem is that if he takes the stick and said he want to begin to hit everybody with the stick, the same people will come back and hurt the government with sabotaging activities. And that's what the government is afraid to do. What is the unification of forex? Is to bring all the prices together and say, we don't have black market in Nigeria. We don't have BDC. But what did the government do? When they asked them to do this, they said, no, that black market exists. Imagine CBN come out and say, we have a new regulation for BDC. Now, BDC is saying that they want to go autonomy. They need autonomy. They want to be autonomous. They want to have digital autonomy to be operated, meaning that they want to now behave and have their own self-regulation by themselves for themselves, which could also be a challenge to the economy. I just hope that CBN will not even take a listing to that kind of thing they are asking for. Because what they are claiming is that if the commercial banks are enjoying some leverage of autonomy to digitalize their processes, they should also ask the question, you that you are selling currency, paper for paper, you are making double money, you want to become digitalized. I don't think the government should just take that kind of people seriously.
Nigeria is really in the die streets.
Seriously.
Just before we go, we have history that's in this day. History as a NUPRC picks 42 winners for its gas flare commercialization bid run. I think that is a good one, don't you think so? Because Nigeria has been flaring, losing so much money to gas flaring, and nothing has been done. Like the Guardian says, 6 years after, Nigeria was 49 gas flare sites to 42 investors.
We just hope as they are giving them that opportunity, they will not come back, and because most of these guys now, they must have given a very big profile. We have also investors coming to support us. We have over 50 billion US dollars in our account. We are going to. They should not come back 2 years and be telling government that they don't have money to invest, because that is because most of these business guys, we need to understand how some of the psyche of this elite business class in Nigeria. They come forward and present a very fantabulous blueprint of how they can into the economy and make it admirable for us. But give them 2-3 years, they come back to the background and begin to the condition, the environment is not allowing us to. We have even spent all the money that we had. Now government should help us. That's what happened in the power sector.
Yes, that's what happened in the power
because
sector. Even the telecom sector.
If not that the government was so stringent about the telecom sector that people after we are seeing people buying recharge card, buying data. So you can't tell us you are not making money. But instead of people, don't be surprised in 2 years time they will come back and tell you the environment is not suitable. Some of them will start selling their licenses and begin to recoup. Before the one that will come and say, we bought a dead license and there was nothing on ground to invest on. So we have lost money. We don't want to hear stories. That's just my advice for them.
We don't want to hear stories. That's the takeaway today from today's program Inside Nigeria. It's always a pleasure to have you on the program. You have so much to say. So viewers, this is where we end today's program Inside Nigeria. Is this Thursday edition of the program, Thursday, September 14, 2023. And of course, we've had with us political economist, public affairs analyst, Olamileko Adebolare. I always look forward to having you every time, everything on the program. So viewers, this is where we end today's program. I'm winning for the program. See you then. Bye.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 08036886158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.